Easter Island in the remote Pacific Ocean is well known for its large stone statues that were created between the 12th and 17th centuries. Called Moai, there are at least 900 of these statues, which were carved using primitive tools out of the volcanic rocks, which comprise this volcanic island. Yet while most people assume that all of these islands, volcanoes, are extinct, this is potentially not the case, at least for some interpretations of recent scientific data. What I'm referring to are an unusually dark-colored series of lava flows that are visibly darker and more pristine than anywhere else on this island. Located on the west flank of the Terevaka volcano, this 4.17 square kilometer or 1.61 square mile lava field originated from these three aligned cinder cones, definitively marking the island's last volcanic eruption. Yet even to this day, sources give three potential different ages for this particular lava flow, with that being 2,000, 10,000, or 110,000 years old. Based on what I know of exposures of volcanic rocks on other similar climate islands, I personally think the 10,000-year-old figure is the best fit. If this is indeed correct, around 8,000 BCE a lake of magma emerged, initially erupting along an 800-meter-long fissure. Dominant points in the fissure soon developed, and these 3 points would grow to become small cinder cones. Intermittent ejections of lava and ash then occurred, as Strombolian eruptive activity happened, while also feeding a westerly moving lava flow. These vents would erupt what I estimate to be around 20.8 million cubic meters of lava, with the eruption probably only lasting for 16 days. Yet that eruption expanded the island, and at some point it even created a lava delta that expanded further offshore, with remnants of that since eroded lava delta still remaining today. Since that occurred 10,000 years ago, and this is within the Holocene, Terevaka would thus meet the definition of an active volcano, albeit just barely, despite the fact it has recently not shown any other signs of life. But much of what I just said is speculation. So what do we know about Easter Island's volcanics? For reference, Easter Island is a territory of Chile that can be found in the Pacific Ocean, 3,750 kilometers, or 2,330 miles west of the town of Huasco there. Easter Island is situated near the westernmost end of an underwater mountain range known as the Salawai Gomez Ridge, which connects with the Nazca Ridge to mark more than 30 million years of volcanic eruptions. These eruptions occur due to an underlying mantle plume known as the Easter Hotspot. The surface of Easter Island is comprised of not one, but 3 separate shield volcanoes that themselves were constructed upon a triangle-shaped edifice that begins nearly 3 kilometers below sea level. All submarine eruptions may have begun as much as 2.5 million years ago. The first surface rocks exposed today formed 780,000 years ago, constructing the beginning of the Reno Cao volcano. Over time, this complex, which effusively erupted basalt, constructed a several clouded, white edifice with the typical profile of a shield volcano. Then 760,000 years ago, a second shield volcano, known as Point arose above sea level, 20 kilometers to the east-northeast, also forming an island mass. The Terevaka volcano was the third and final distinct shield volcano to rise above sea level, around 700,000 years ago, meaning for a time there were 3 distinct volcanic islands. All 3 of these volcanoes, within solely, undergo a change in the nature of eruptive activity around 350,000 years ago, with more distant flank vents, sometimes erupting a summit caldera, related to the withdrawal of magma from said flank, eruptions forming at each volcano, and eruptions becoming more explosive. The most famous vent to form during this period was the vent known as Reno Raraku, which repeatedly produced highly energetic explosions during eruption as rising magma interacted with shallow ocean water. This formed a tough cone from which 95% of the island's moai were carved from. Later eruptions utilized an even wider range of lavas, almost purely at flank vents, beginning around 250,000 years ago. These eruptions finally connected the 3 islands into a single landmass and formed the vast majority of the cinder cones and lava domes on the island. Since 110,000 years ago, every single one of the island's eruptions have originated from Terevaka volcano, occurring specifically on segments of these 2 lineaments. Thus, if Terevaka volcano is still active, and was to erupt again one day, it would most likely occur here. I want to note that not all Moai on the island were carved out of tuff, as a minority were also carved out of basalt, trachy, and scoria. I hope that you found this video interesting, and I would like to thank my supporters on Patreon and my YouTube members for supporting my work.